Hello there, my fellow lovely crafters of the Craftyverse. It's Terry from Copics Creates, back with another crafty video for you. I recently bought this absolutely gorgeous die set, a partnership between Gina K Designs and Hero Arts, with this beautiful floral bouquet and all of these really lovely sentiments. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you'll know that I've recently bought some Copics. I love colouring with alcohol markers. I use Altenew Artist Markers and Spectrum Noir Illustrator and tri-blend markers, but I've recently bought myself some Copics, so I'm just been playing around with them and getting used to them and how they work, etc. So as you can see, I've already started colouring up this bloom. I stamped it in some Memento Tuxedo black ink, which is safe to use with alcohol inks, and I've cut this to be just a bit bigger than 5x7 because the bloom's so large that I'm going to use it probably on a 5x7 card unless I do something creative with it and sort of cut it in half or at an angle or something and use it on several cards. So what I thought I would do today, as you can see, I've already coloured most of the blooms, but I thought I would do a short bit of colouring, maybe just finish off this flower, and then do one or two leaves, just to for anyone that's interested in learning more about colouring with alcohol markers, and then I will decide what I'm going to do in terms of turning it into a card or cards. So if you're not interested in the colouring with alcohol markers bit, you can just fast forward, and I'll put in the link in the description box below the sort of timestamp of where to forward to. So let's get started. So I'm using, it's just for anyone that's interested, I'm using V17, V04, RV04, RV23, RV21 and RV10, and I've got these arranged from lightest to darkest. So I always use the brush end. I don't really like chisel tips. That's the only thing I don't really like about the Copics. I prefer a brush and then a fine tip, but it's fine. You can get into small places with a brush nib, so I don't mind too much. So I've just gone in and sort of coloured. So this little bit that's upturned is going to be lighter. So I've gone in with the lightest colour, and then I'm just using gentle flicks just to get some colour down with the lightest colour first. And then I'll go in with my slightly darker colour. We're in the same sort of area. And this is how I tend to colour flowers often, just using this gentle flicking motion. Sometimes I'll do it so you get a really seamless blend, and you can't really see any brush strokes. I just vary it depending what mood I'm in and sort of what the image looks like and what I feel would go best with it. So there are obviously different. Oh no! Look what's happened. So I've took the top off and then it's splooged everywhere. Oh dear. Okay. Well, that doesn't normally happen. Maybe I was a bit vigorous in taking it off. Okay, so that's going to therefore impact on what I do with the card. Whether I'm going to fussy cut the image out, or whether I'm just going to make more flicks and make it look like it was deliberate. But to avoid that happening again, I'm going to decap away from the project. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me before. That's quite unusual. Anyway, back to the colouring. So I find that these purple tones work really well with this with these pinks. They're the next colour family over. So we've got RV, which is red, violet, and then violet. So you can, it's nice to use colour families that are next to each other, they blend well with each other. Okay, so this leaf looks like it's turning over that way, so I'm thinking that the lightest part would be here. Don't be afraid to turn your paper around either if it feels more comfortable to do that. So we know that flowers have like veins running through them, don't we? And I think the flicking technique gives more of a sort of natural look, I think. But I do like also sort of doing a smooth blend as well. It does vary, and there's no right or wrong, you know. It's just whatever you think makes the image look the way you want it to look. It's just about being creative and having fun with the process. 23. But obviously we want to, even though it's not like we're not aiming for a smooth blend, we still don't want like a stark contrast. So if we're finding that that's happening, you know, just sort of like here, for example, it was looking like just a line of purple. We don't want a line of purple. Here it's looking a bit the same, so let's just try and avoid that. So these are the innermost petals, so they're going to be, you know, the sort of bud bits which haven't opened yet, so they're going to be darker. Okay, there we go. So that's one bloom. I'm going to go ahead and colour the rest of the image and then be back in a short while. Okay, so here we go. I have now finished colouring all of the blooms. I've also managed to pretty much get rid of all of those little blobs of pink using my colourless blender. But I'm pretty impressed, really. You can really sort out little messes like that using a colourless blender often. It just pushes the ink through to the back, as you can see there. So yeah, you can barely even see them. So I've chosen some colours for the leaves. Here's my little swatch chart. So I've chosen G00, G02, G05 and G17. So I'm just gonna have a play about with these. So I'll do a couple of leaves and then turn it off again. Because the leaves are such a smaller area, it's easier to sort of do a blended leaf approach than it is with the larger blooms, like than with the flowers, because it's such a small area. I'll just do as best I can and see how it turns out, and just play until it looks sort of right, and I'm happy with it. I think I quite like this second leaf. I'm not too keen on that one, so I'll go back in and work on that a bit more. In the way that this leaf's position is that this bit that I'm working on now is sort of like that, so I'm trying to get this bit darker and the top bit lighter. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Okay, so I've gone for quite an interesting twist on this project. So what I did was cut the panel from corner to corner. Well, first of all, I trimmed it down so the whole panel was 4.5 by 6.5, and then I trimmed it diagonally. And then I wanted to pair it with this lovely black and white paper, which is from Lou Collins Brushstrokes paper pack, which I've used a couple of times. I've used a few sheets, but I really like this one. So I was just being playful, really, just playing about, and I wasn't quite sure whether I was going to just use initially I thought I was going to use one half and then the other half and then put like a strip of black or something like that down the centre. And then I also liked this sheet of paper as well. So for this one I actually cut like a thin strip, and I was going to use that in between and have this on the top. But then I decided to go for the twist of restamping. So essentially we've got the whole image there, but it's just coloured in one half and stamped in the other. So I've done that for both. So I'm actually going to end up getting 2 cards out of this project, which is great because it's always great to get a twofer. So you know, it is a bit brave, really, I think, you know, when you spent all that time colouring an image to then just like chop it in half. But, you know, it's just about being playful, isn't it? And just trying different things. I'm going to get a couple of card blanks out, stick the black panels on, and then stick these on. I think that looks really cool, you know, because you get one complete image, but it's just in two different halves. I also think maybe like a sentiment strip going across, like a happy birthday or something, just to sort of to go in with the lines, would be nice. I'm also kind of part tempted to do a little bit of colouring on this side. I'm not quite sure. I shall be back in a moment with some more progress when I've done some more thinking. And here we go, my friends. The two cards are now completed. They're quite similar in design, but still very different. So with this card, I went over in using this Pigma Micron Archival ink pen, just to thicken up the stamped black line to make it stand out even more. And I really liked that and thought it looked really effective. And then I just went ahead and I heat embossed in white a nice happy birthday sentiment. And I use this a lot. This is from a Paper Smooches set. I just really like the size and the script. So I heat embossed that in white onto some black card and mounted it up on a few thin strips of black card, so it's a little bit dimensional. Obviously, it's a 5x7 card. This is cut a 1/4 of an inch smaller, and then that's another 1/4 of an inch smaller. Same format for this card, but with this one, I carried on the colouring over onto the patterned paper section, which I just think looks really interesting and unusual. Obviously this is the one that I cut a thin strip out of there. I haven't got the glue in perfectly, so you can see a slight little bit of line here and there, but nothing that you'd really notice unless you knew it was there. And I used the same stamp, but I just stamped it in black, VersaFine Onyx Black, my favourite pigment ink. And I'm really pleased with both of these. I think they're quite contemporary. I really enjoyed colouring the blooms, and I just love the effect of both of these with sort of, I'd never tried stamping onto patterned paper before, interestingly enough, but I think it gives a really nice, interesting image, and I'd certainly would never have thought to stamp on it and colour over it. So it's definitely a sort of learning, fun learning experimentation exercise for me, this video. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think, and again, any questions or anything that you may have. And if you like the video, please use your thumbs and give it a thumbs up to let me know. And I'll be back soon with another crafty video for you. Take care of yourselves and each other, everybody. See and speak to you soon. Bye.